He's one of our newest senior planners.
She used to work.
Yes, we do. Everybody's here.
We need 5 for you to. I've had lawyers say
We're good.
you would have to abstain. It's all. I know we've had exact opposite. Has nothing to do. I think we're gonna have to. People that are not. Also, they've been asking why we even have those.
I don't. Most of the people I recognize, but I know there have been calls and complaints. I asked the attorney to come to the meeting. She obviously didn't. Stephen called because he's been.
What? All good? Pretty good. Yes, and Daryl was taking trips to Europe.
I like that.
Last on Sunday. He's in Italy? Yeah, he was doing like a 2-week architectural tour and then just bounced around a little bit. Yeah,
We're gonna go. Ready? All right, we're gonna go ahead and open the meeting today, September 4th. First item is to approve the minutes from the July 8th meeting. Have a chance to review any.
I move
move the approval as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a,
Yep, I just turned it on. Thank you.
motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Tim, any announcements tonight?
Typically good afternoon, Tim Brown with Planning and Development. Typically, this is where we do the continuances and whatnot. Stephen is going to get up and discuss the Chapter 6 changes. But item number 3, Inland Beach Circle K, we're requesting it be continued to the next meeting, October 2nd, because they didn't provide any DRB inserts. And Circle K, Miramar Beach Master Sign Plan, we're also requesting to be continued to the next meeting, October 2nd, because they didn't post a sign or well, I don't think they provide inserts for that one either, actually. For MSP, you don't have to post a sign or send out certified letters, but they didn't provide the DRB inserts. You want to go ahead and he'll talk about the Chapter 6.
Want to go ahead and vote, continue the,
Well, we're requesting a table, the ordinance.
I know, but the two inlet.
Yeah, if you go ahead and act on that, and you can do it in one motion if you want.
Motion to defer the item number 3, the Inlet Beach, Circle K, and the Miramar Beach Master Sign Plan.
So moved.
Second.
And we're gonna, all in favor?
Aye.
And let's move those to October 2nd. All right. Item number 2.
Good evening, Stephen Schoen with the Planning Department. So I just wanted to come and briefly discuss the proposed amendments. I know that the board did quite a lot of work in conjunction with staff, and we got to a place that I think we all felt comfortable moving forward. And then Senate Bill 180 passed, right? I don't know how much you've been paying attention to that, but essentially we're in a position where our hands are tied as it relates to changes to the Land Development Code that can be perceived as burdensome, really by any measure, until hopefully this next year the legislature will seek to clear up some of that language and define what burdensome is, and hopefully shape it in a way that will be much more reminiscent of a body of work that is going to do what is advertised as the intent there is to, preserve buildable rights and things post hurricane and disaster events, right? But currently, we cannot move the Chapter 6 amendments forward out of fear of reprisal from a property owner that will consider those amendments more burdensome. So they're not going away, but staff is asking that we push pause, which in effect is tabling. So when we have a more clear direction as considering SB 180, or we can review the proposed amendments and find things in there that are just clarification in nature, or are not changing any sort of standard, but are just trying to, again, clarify something. We can potentially move those forward. But currently, I believe the most appropriate thing to do is to table the LDC changes until we're ready to bring them back, and then we will re-advertise, and you all will hear that item at that time. So.
A quick question. I know we have a long meeting ahead of us, so I'm not going to belabor many of these points right now. But is it staff's understanding that to adopt this would be illegal, or that it would create exposure that we might have litigation?
It's my understanding, based on conversation and discussion at the Board of County Commissioners level from their attorney, that we would not even be able to bring an ordinance forward for their consideration without being liable under 180. So
in other words, it would be illegal to proceed.
That's my take. Yes, sir.
That's a no-brainer then. I'm ready to make a motion.
If somebody'd like to.
I move that we follow staff's recommendation and table item number 2.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Tim, item number 5, Hotel Rain.
This is a major development application submitted by Neil Carroll Engineering requesting approval to add a parcel to the 30 Avenue development, construct a 78-unit hotel with parking garage and associated infrastructure on 3.34 acres with a future land use of mixed use and a zoning of village mixed use. The property is located in District 5 near the corner of 30A and Highway 98 in Inlet Beach at the 30 Avenue development. So there are some issues with this, and Stephen is going to discuss those issues, how we got here and where we're going to go from here. So I'll turn it over to him.
Okay, so this is kind of one of these just really unique situations. The applicant early on in the process approached staff, approached me for some direction here based on section 2.2.7 in the Inlet Beach Neighborhood Plan. Specifically, subsection 2.27C3, which speaks to limited lodging and how it's restricted in the neighborhood planning area. There is a discrepancy. There is a mistake for all intents and purposes in here. And I'll go over that now. So the limited lodging, and I'm just quoting here, is only permitted as described in neighborhood commercial section 2.02.23. That is the biggest and glaring mistake that I find. I think there's probably a secondary or tertiary sort of confusion in there as well, but past this part. But that reference is incorrect. So I was asked to interpret, what this means, right? So if it was a gray area, if it was something that was left to interpretation and not a clear typo or mistake, then I would have made that interpretation and we would have carried on. However, I don't know what was the intent there. I can certainly understand that the folks that were involved understand the intent there. I know that others believe it's something else, right? So section 202.23 refers specifically to the VMU language in the Land Development Code, which allows for limited lodging, much greater than 10 lodging rooms, right? So that's the issue. And I told the applicant at the time that I cannot make that. That's not a determination that I can make, that I'm willing to make, based on the fact that it's not something that I think needs to be determined. It's something that needs to be corrected, and I'm not the one that can correct that. So what I indicated to them that we would go through the process and we would introduce this to the Board of County Commissioners with that information given to them. This is clearly a mistake in the Inlet Beach Neighborhood Plan. This is the board's decision here to weigh in and determine what exactly is going on here. So we have allowed it to go through this process. We're coming up to a sort of crossroads here, however, and I know that the applicant has spent quite a bit of money getting to this place. There's quite an investment backed understanding in this process that I've given them and that they've taken, in the fact that I've said the Board of County Commissioners will decide on this matter. But we are coming to this point where I think we need to have a conversation with our legal team, the board's legal folks, and figure out if this is something that the board should decide on prior to hearing the project, if they should review this language and review what I think is a mistake and determine how to proceed here. But ultimately, this was placed on the agenda because you all are a recommending body, and you can recommend, based on your understanding of the Inlet Beach Plan and what's written here and how you've proceeded in the past. And ultimately, things get moved to the Board of County Commissioner all the time, regardless of the recommendation from Planning Commission and other boards. So whether you are in favor or opposed to this development, or some sort of conditions are tacked on, what have you, I believe that the application can still move forward for that final decision. Now, again, after this meeting, there's going to have to be another meeting with the applicant and I think legal teams to determine how exactly that decision is made, if it's made with the project at the end of everything, or if it's made now to determine if the project moves forward under its current state or not. So that's where we are.
And just to clarify, we're a recommendation body to the board on this one, just like Planning Commission is a recommendation body. So whether we have an affirmative or a negative vote, the applicant can still make the choice to move forward to the board if they want to. So
That's my understanding. Yes, ma'am. If you don't have any other questions, I will sit down and I think turn it over to either Tim to finish his introduction or to.
anybody have any questions of Stephen right now? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
With that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record,
So noted.
and I'll entertain any questions you may have. I did look at the elevation. It does show the height at 40 feet. Shows the average grade at 32 and the building at 72, so that's 40 feet. Because you do measure from the average grade.
If you don't have any questions of Tim, I'll go ahead and ask the applicant. to
And
come
the
forward.
applicant has a presentation.
Okay. All right, thank you, Tim. If our applicant would like to come forward, please. And if you guys don't mind, if you'll state your name and spell it for our records. And when you're speaking up here, I know there's two of you, but just make sure you're in the microphone.
No problem. My name is Neil Polen, Neilpolen. I'm a principal with Dale Partners Architects, representing the project this evening. Here with me is Travis Altsman. He's the project manager, and he'll be doing the presentation of the design of the building.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't know that it's, okay.
Do I need to do it again?
Yeah, as long as the button's tall or up, it's good. You don't have to hold it.
Okay. ALTSMAN. All right. Is it?
Yeah, please
ahead.
go ahead.
Hi, I'm Travis Altsman, like I just said, with Dale Partners. I'm the project architect for this. Project is Hotel Rain, Rosemary Beach at 30 Avenue. It's a 78-room boutique hotel, 4 stories. You can see we did a lot of work to try to keep under the required 40-foot maximum, including even sinking the first floor into the ground to create a intimate sunken courtyard. The building itself also includes a parking garage to make sure that we meet all the parking requirements and keeping the function of 30 Avenue as it is now, and then keeping in with the required parking requirements for Walton County. Do I have my presentation going? Okay. Okay. So, excuse me. What you're looking at here is the main facade of the building. That's the main entrance. A little drive off of the West Pinewood Avenue. And you can see that the building, it's essentially a block and plank building with an artificial stucco finish. The idea aesthetically is to really just match the already existing 30 Avenue development, and then make sure that we're in keeping with that style. You can See, it's a kind of a, excuse me, it's a kind of a simplified sort of Caribbean Dutch style, a little bit modern, but with some classical detailing. You can see the tile in the insets. Just to go over the materials, which I have brought samples. We're going to use, it's a sort of a galvanized metal roof. And we can pass this around, or do you?
Yeah,
Sure.
that'd be great.
Thank you. So we have a galvanized metal standing seam roof. As I said before, we're using an artificial stucco. That's going to be a kind of a white, meeting with the Munsell color that are allowable in the area. The kind of balconies and trim that you see there is what's that metal sample there. The factory name, it's like a Knotwood is a brand, and it's essentially aluminum, but it has a permanently finished wood look. So all of the trim for the balcony, the brackets, and the guardrails will all be made out of that. And then where we won't make it, that will be a pre-finished metal with a painted color to simulate one of the colors in that veining of the wood. So it's a very simple color palette that we're using here. And as I said before, the kind of idea is that we work with the existing development at 30 Avenue. It faces the highway, and we are trying to keep as much of that natural scrub vegetation as possible, and then intermittently updating that landscape with appropriate vegetation that's already been reviewed under our landscape plan. The whole development is about a little over 80,000 square feet. Sorry, I meant to be flipping through the slides. If you'll just hit the slide for me. Okay, this is off of Pinewood Drive. See the rooms there? All the rooms open up onto an open air balcony, but it's not simple. You can see that we've heavily ornamented it with a sort of Caribbean classical motif. This is from the highway. You can see that there's 3 stories showing. As I said, it's a 4-story building, but the first story is actually sunken in, and we have this screen wall that prevents anybody from seeing into the courtyard. The roof itself, you can see the exposed part of the roof is the galvanized metal, as I said, but that's actually concealing a very deep flat roof behind it. If you go to the next slide, please. And one more. There you go. Primarily, our HVAC will be split systems, which is pretty typical for hotel construction. So no HVAC will be visible from the street. You can go there. Right here you can see sort of a bird's eye view of the courtyard and the hotel looking in. See, most of the rooms face the courtyard, so it's very inwardly focused. Please. This is an example room from a view from one of the rooms. This is another one. Okay, and then we're zooming out here to from a higher bird's eye view, showing the whole development of 30A, including their hotel, and you can see in the background the parking garage. And this is just another view. I guess you can switch back to the one view before. There you go. Thank you. That's pretty much all the presentation that we have for the property. I'd be happy to address any questions, aesthetic or otherwise.
Does anyone have any questions for our applicant?
questions for the applicant and then one for staff.
Okay, excellent.
The first question, I think I know the answer to this, but just to clarify, the parking garage is labeled as a 3-story garage on one portion of the drawings and a 4-level garage on the other. And I realize that since garages have sloped floors, it's probably the same. I just wanted to confirm that it was.
Yeah,
that
yes,
there's
sir.
no
It's
question about the size. of the
four,
garage.
4 levels.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can park all the way up there.
Yep. So in other words, the renderings and the technical drawings all match.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, cool. The second question is the lighting levels on the top deck of the garage. I'm rounding by 0.1 or 2 feet, but the brightest areas are 25-foot candles, which is pretty sporty. So I was just curious if there was some possibility that the lighting levels could be discussed and maybe brought down a little bit.
I think we can reduce the light levels to obviously we can't go below any code minimums,
Understood.
but assuming that we can go below the 25, then yes, that can be,
I don't know if
we can meet that standard.
I had a question. It was similar on lighting. I was just looking at your exterior lighting package included in there. Do you know, are the exterior lights for the parking areas, have they been coordinated with what is already existing throughout the 30 Avenue development?
The light that we submitted is, it's a pole light that's supposed to be like that same
Okay.
style.
'Cause-
If that's what you mean.
Well, then that's something I would ask you, if
Is
you
that
can-
something you don't like?
No,
Or you
I would
do?
get with them and try to make sure that continuity exists.
Yeah.
One of my biggest pet peeves is changes of light color. When you got warm light next to a bright white and you keep
yeah.
changing, 30 Avenue did a great job with their lighting. And I would hate for that lighting to be, having that warmer light color and then you turn to this and it's all shown here as 4,000 Kelvin.
Yeah.
I just would like to make sure that you guys coordinate that Kelvin more than the light fixture itself with what is already going on in their parking lot.
No, I understand what you mean. You mean the light temperature, the color of the light, and the
Correct.
intensity of the light.
Correct.
Understood. And yes,
Um,
that's obviously, we can do that.
That was just something I think they really got right on the front end. And I just wouldn't want this to be, since you're trying to integrate it into there, make sure the lighting is consistent.
Yeah, as I said in the beginning, our intention is to create this as a seamless addition to 30 Avenue.
And then, like I said, in the package, it has all of the light poles, the parking lot lighting, showing the foot candles. What I don't think, maybe it's included in there, but on all of these, actually the balconies are all facing inward, so I guess it'd be the corridors. And just making sure, once again, that lighting is not, David brought up the parking garage, that's something that if it's not buffered well against the community behind there.
That's right. And you can see all the corridors are on the outside, as you've noticed. But you can see it's not like they're open, like in an old-fashioned motel. We've tried to create a tight sense of privacy and then getting that light to not go out. Obviously the foot candles that you see on the drawing, that's a number, but getting that to actually work in real life is a matter of tuning the light, aiming the fixtures, and making sure that everything works as advertised. So I understand what you mean.
Because, I think the biggest concern of the neighbors would be just impact on them. I think by turning the hotel inward, you're helping the sound issue. But I think lighting, making sure you're not giving them a nuisance of, backing up to that. Because since you have a row of houses directly across the street,
Yes.
that's something that just needs to be very carefully looked at and coordinated. So,
I apologize. I was struggling. My computer started trying to update itself right before I started making my notes. So I didn't open my comments with, great job. It is an
thank you.
attractive addition. And I think the overall concept, the placement of the building, sinking the courtyard, all that stuff, I think is very positive. So I apologize. I opened with criticisms.
No, it's all right. And I'm very sensitive to the light issue. I used to live in a house right below a hotel. So if there's anybody who's going to be strict on that, it's me.
thank you.
Do you happen to know off the top of your head, I haven't done a parking garage in a long, long time, so I can't remember, but I think the lower level, or an acceptable level of foot candles, I believe is around 10. And so.
Yeah,
25
yeah, like a
25
code
obviously-
minimum, yeah.
And as you get to the outer edges, it gets down to, it looked like on the photometric chart, like 3 or 4, which is great. But obviously, when you've got car windshields and a
Sure.
concrete deck and you throw that much light at it, it's going to bounce off and go up in the sky. And so 25, if I'm correct, that 10-foot candles is an acceptable level. 25.
Yeah, I mean, if I need to put it in the record, we will adjust the foot candles to 10 if that's code minimum. You know, you have to balance light levels with a feeling of safety
Yes, absolutely.
and,
Yeah.
obviously, and then the neighbors as well. So, and we're sensitive to that.
Any other questions from our applicant? Okay, thank you.
Very much.
Is anyone from the public here to speak on this one? All right, and seeing no one.
Madam Chairman, I did have one question.
Yes.
For staff.
Oh,
and,
okay.
If I may, I believe this is an addition to 30 Avenue. Will it fall under 30 Avenue's master sign plan?
They'll have to amend it to add that additional parcel.
Okay.
Because that parcel, it's right there at the corner of Pinewood and 98. If it wasn't for that, I'd say yes. But since that parcel isn't identified in the MSP, they're going to have to amend it to add that parcel.
Okay. And that brings up my concern, which is just based on observation, I don't think 30 Avenue, there's been an awful lot of signage added and canopies and things like that. So I'd be concerned whether they are in compliance with their plan currently, and if they're going to start adding to it.
Well, they
we
do-
have any power to require that they become compliant?
They
before
do
can
have
make
very,
any-
well, I mean, we would want to see that, but that's really up to the developer, right? But they do have very specific sign requirements, and for the most part, it's white with black awnings.
Is there a number or I mean, I'm a relative new guy, I was not on the RB, I think, when it was,
Well, it's,
Adopted, but
it's
it's-
one per tenant,
yeah.
and they're 2 stories, so you have a tenant on the first floor, a tenant on the second floor. But I mean, in terms of color and design, they have very specific standards, because they want uniformity throughout the whole development. So it's not so
Yeah,
much
col-
how
color-
many signs, they just want them all to be consistent.
Okay. Okay, well, if it sounds like it's not germane to this project, because today the project is not being considered. If we push this forward, we're not opining on whether or not it's compliant with the 30 Avenue
Well, I
signage plan,
think,
because it's not part of the 30
I think
Avenue
it
signage.
says, does it say no signage at this time?
I was gonna ask that question of you because we don't have all of the details for the signage.
So then,
yeah.
your motion would be to exclude the signage, so they have to come back to get that approved. And they could do the amendment to the MSP at the same time if they so desire. I mean, I think that would be a plus. But typically, a hotel doesn't have a lot of turnover in terms of signage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it wouldn't necessarily be a burden if they did not do that. But 30 Avenue does have very specific requirements for all their tenants.
Well, I'll be quite plain in saying that I would love to use this as an opportunity to correct, if I'm correct, that there are violations of the master sign plan existing in 30 Avenue, but it would be inappropriate of me to hang this project up on it, it sounds like, because we're not considering signage tonight, so.
Well, and to answer your lighting question, foot candles are measured at the property line, and for commercial, it's 15. So they cannot exceed 15-foot candles at the property line.
Okay.
And that's pretty bright. I mean, 15 is pretty bright, but that's what our code says. I mean, 10 would be better, because 15 is like a football stadium lit up at night.
Yeah. And it's been well documented in a lot of different safety and security studies that an even level of light is far superior for safety than bright spots and dark spots.
Absolutely, that's true, yes. And at least one judge in Santa Rosa County does not understand that.
Okay,
Thank you,
Got it.
Tim.
that takes care of me.
Okay. So, discussion-wise, I want to circle back to what Stephen kind of brought to our attention first, is the neighborhood plan for Inlet Beach. So the only hotel facility that the Inlet Beach neighborhood plan allows is this limited lodging or the bed and breakfast facilities. And the language reads, facilities not to exceed 10 lodging rooms. A bed and breakfast is located in a single structure which has the appearance of a large single-family home. Parking shall be to the rear and side of the structure to enforce a residential character to the grounds. And so that's what's being challenged, the language on whether the citation that didn't get updated when the zoning ordinance got updated is going to talk about limited lodging in a different way, or talking about limited lodging as it relates to the Inlet Beach plan. The same language was in the earlier version of the Inlet Beach plan that was also in the comp plan. And it was removed out about 6 years ago, and put in this format. So this would be the first time that discussion has come up in Inlet Beach. Just to let everyone that's
So
like,
under our current code, without it being accepted and rewritten, this is not in compliance.
that's the interpretation. My interpretation would be that the only lodging allowed in Inlet Beach is the bed and breakfast not to exceed 10 lodging rooms.
How did we get to this point with 78 rooms?
And that's what Stephen was talking about, because there's that discrepancy in the code citation that they're going to allow the board to have that conversation.
Yeah, the reference has nothing to do with that section of the Inlet Beach neighborhood plan. If you read what it's saying and you go to that reference, 202, whatever it was, it doesn't apply to what they're trying to reference. So that's the issue. And I looked it up. The language is exactly word for word out of when it was in the comp
Yeah.
plan. Because
And originally
all the
adopted.
neighborhood plans are in the LDC, so when they wanted to update this, we adopted it into the LDC, so all the neighborhood plans are, and when it was in the comp plan, if you wanted to amend it, it was a text amendment that had to be sent to the state for review. But that's the issue, that reference has nothing to do with that section of the Inlet Beach plan.
Okay. So it's not like there's a variance that could be applied.
Correct, yeah.
And then, Tim, as far as, I have a question for you. You referenced that this parcel is not currently in the master plan.
That corner lot is not currently part of the 30th Avenue development.
Are you asking them to be? Or is it just an option?
The request is to add that lot. We're adding that lot to the 30th Avenue development.
Is that before this body, or will that be before the county commission?
Well, all the bodies, it's got to go through the planning commission as well, but that's part of the request, is to add that parcel to the 30th Avenue, because it's currently just, it's not really even an out parcel.
Is
It's
that the
just,
applicant's request, or is that your and planning department's request?
it's
That
It's
they
the
add it?
applicant's request.
Okay, so they
'cause this
want
is-
to be a part
this
of
is
the
part
whole.
of the 30th Avenue development. I don't know if they just recently purchased it or what, but that parcel just wasn't included in that development.
Okay, so there's several different issues that we're dealing with as far as,
Is this project on the next planning?
No, like Stephen discussed earlier, we're not taking it any further until we decide whether they can do it or not.
Okay, so if we were.
Because we have to sit down with the legal team, but right now our expectation, I mean, we could be wrong, but our expectation is we would take it to the county commission for them to decide what's the next step. Do we decide now, or do we decide when we bring it to the county commission, or is it going to be a legal decision by the county attorney, but we're not taking it any further, because the next step would be the planning commission, but we're not going to do that until we can figure out whether this is an allowable use under the Inlet Beach plan or not.
Thank you. Where I was angling with this is, it sounds like it's not going to be on the planning commission agenda this month. So if we were to continue it to the next meeting, we'd be all set if it is on the planning commission agenda next month. So we're not delaying the project if we continue it to our next meeting.
Correct.
No, you would not be delaying it.
Well,
And I don't know that we'd have different answers, but.
we may continue it again, but what I'm going
Yeah.
to,
It keeps, yeah.
I'm trying to avoid being a showstopper.
Right, right.
We were
Um,
just discussing it.
And the only other kind of comment that I had, I think, so the back part of 30 Avenue is the preservation, or vegetation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all
Um,
required preservation.
And in the real world, we know that that doesn't necessarily mean trees.
Yeah.
And if you know that road, you know that it's very sparse pine trees and some understory. And so my concern for the adjacent property owners is that you actually have no screening. I mean, very, very limited screening on that whole parking garage side. And that's a massive structure compared to the rest of the massing of that neighborhood and even of 30A, the 30 Avenue. So that concerns me a little bit. Just attempting to look at compatibility just from a massing standpoint, you know, it's big and it's going to be very visible and lit up. So that just kind of,
Getting some photographs for the next meeting be?
I don't know. I mean, I think we can require enhanced vegetation or enhanced buffering. I don't know that that changes the massing or the illumination.
Yeah, I think it's back to the lighting. I mean, I don't know. Mitigation will solve it without solve it.
Mm-hmm.
What about like green screens on the side of the building?
I like green screens. I think
I
they
mean,
do a
it
great
softens
job.
it up.
Yeah, I think that's a very good solution.
If it extended up a little bit, it would do a lot to mitigate the lighting concern that I have.
Yeah, I've seen them go in front of the, the passageways, the green screen up. I mean, you still get daylight in, but not, it helps.
Absorb sound.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a great,
Nice.
good solution.
Well, because of the long agenda and because we seem to be at a little bit of a stuck in the mud on the proceeding, I'm going to move that we continue the item to our next meeting. Do we have a date? Am I supposed to?
October 2nd.
I move that we continue this item to October 2nd, 2025 DRB meeting.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to continue. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. All right. Ms. Reed, Holiday Inn.
Hello, good evening. So agenda item number 6, the Holiday Inn Express building sign. This is a request to approve by final order. Project number SGN 2500252. This is a scenic corridor sign application submitted by Florida Certified Sign Erectors on behalf of DM Miramar Beach Hotel LLC. Requesting approval of a building sign measuring 53.08 square feet on 1.42 plus or minus acres with a future land use of mixed use in a zoning category of coastal center mixed use. The property is located in District 4 at 10861 US Highway 98 West and can be identified by the parcel number in your staff report. May I enter the staff report into the record?
Noted.
Okay.
Any
So, go
Go
ahead.
No, you, please.
So staff recommends that the sign appears to meet the minimum technical standards for a building sign. Of course, you'll all make the ultimate decision, but if you don't have any questions for me, I'll defer to the applicant if they're in attendance tonight.
Any questions? All right, thank you. Okay. Does our applicant care to come up?
I'm with Florida Certified Sign Erectors,
You could state your name for,
Lori Moreland.
did you have anything that you wanted to add, or are you just for questions?
I'm just requesting approval of the design, the materials, and the colors. And I do have some color samples if you care to see the samples for the colors.
I don't know that that's necessary on the signage, but thank you for bringing them.
Sure, sure.
Ashley, you said you had do you have questions? Sorry.
Yeah, sometimes it's just hard to tell how these things are gonna light up. So,
The illumination part on the sign for it's reverse halo lit, so it has that halo illumination effect from behind the sign.
so during the day, the sign will appear as blue, and at night, it will be backlit
Backlit.
in what color?
Well, it's white LED illumination. So in the day, the faces are satin blue, and the H is white.
So it would be a halo cool light effect behind it? Okay.
Yes.
Refer to my architects on this one.
Oh, there is it's sort of
There's a night view there.
there's a night view on page 8. Set in the bottom of the drawing.
In the black box.
Any additional questions of our applicant? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Does anyone from the public care to speak on this one? All right, and seeing no one in discussion? Anybody care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Tim, item number 7.
Thank you. This is a minor development application submitted by MDM Services on behalf of L&V Investments, requesting approval to develop a 5,200 square foot convenience store, gas station, and associated infrastructure on 2.513 acres with the future land use of mixed use and a zoning of coastal center mixed use. Property is located in District 4 at the southeast corner of South Geronimo Street and Highway 98. So currently, there's 2 uses there. The building right on the corner has 2 restaurants in it, a Gian, one of my favorites, and there's also a sports bar, restaurant, and then the gas station immediately to the east. I'm sorry, I think that's the car wash. Thank you. So they're going to tear those down and redevelop with the Circle K. With that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, please.
All right, so noted.
And I'll entertain any questions you may have.
Questions for Tim? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is our applicant here?
Hi there. I'm Sandy Owens with MDM Services, representing the property owner and Circle K. I'm here if you have any questions.
Great, thank you.
I also brought a materials board if you want to see that.
Thank you. If you'll bring it up, that'd be great. I have a couple questions, but I don't know if anybody wanted to start before me. No? Okay. So the only questions that I have pertain to the patio area that is not detailed in our packet. I know
Okay.
it, just by the small part of the image that we have in there and based on other Circle Ks, I know you have red bollards and then red furniture outside on the patio. Is that what is being proposed here at this location?
The bollards will not be red,
They're showing up as red in one of the renderings.
are they? I know they have to be an approved Munsell color. Everything here has to be. Even our canopy is not red. so
I know.
it's white.
I
I'm
didn't,
not
yeah.
sure about the bollards, but I'll get clarification on that.
Well, we could just note what
Yeah, we'll
color
just,
they need to be.
yeah, we'll just
I mean,
note that they need to be a building color.
Yeah.
And that was my only kind of comment on the,
Yeah, what's the side fueling area? Is it for commercial fueling or is that just for, is just extra filling
It's
station?
for RVs and people pulling boats, trailers, things like that.
Okay,
It has non-ethanol fuel for
Okay.
boats there on that side, and also has diesel for RVs.
so no services for a WB 67 big truck in and out? Okay,
No truck fueling here.
okay.
Targeting beach or water, people going to the beach.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Is the retention pond out front, is it gonna have a fence around it? I didn't see any notes on it, but I could have missed it.
No fence.
Okay.
It's sloped at 4-to-1 and it's only
It's not very deep,
2
but
feet deep.
I don't know, some companies want fence around it from liability.
we do have hedge around the parking, so there is a little bit of a buffer. At least I remember that. Let me see if I find the landscape plan.
Well, we also have that scenic corridor there too, which will be pretty heavily landscaped up against the road. And then the hedges in the parking lot, so.
Oh, I did have another one. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The directional signage that you have, the red directional signage.
Yeah.
At other locations, the signage is half the size. I've measured it. So I think 4 feet for directional signage like this is a little excessive. I think that, topping that out much lower, 30 inches.
Signage got continued to October 2nd because I didn't have I had to do a master sign plan for
Okay,
this one
so that's part of
for
that
the
master-
directional
okay.
signage alone.
Well, that's my comment for directional
30,
signage. when you
30
get to the-
inches.
I think so. I don't think more than that. I mean, the Circle K just down the street in Freeport has very small directional signages, and they're perfectly visible. Just
At
down-
Highway 20 and
just down.
that's mine too.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I mean, I think that's an appropriate size. I don't think we need to have 4-foot directional signage on this one.
Okay. I'll make a note. I'm gonna have to revise that.
And that signage is gonna even get into enter here and do not enter, right? Once that sign comes before us, the sign package?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, the signs that will come before you are, all the ID sign, the building signs, and the directional signage. The directional signage is what triggered that
Okay.
master sign plan.
So with the motion on this one, we're excluding signage. If anybody wants to make a note of that. Okay. Any other questions of our applicant? All right, thank you. Anyone from the audience care to speak on this one? All right, and seeing no one. Any discussion?
I have a quick question. I guess I'll direct it staff if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
This project was approved at TRC.
Yes.
Any contingencies or anything we might want to be aware of?
No.
Thank you.
One, I don't know if y'all really, if it's relevant, but Public Works made them put a sidewalk down South Geronimo Street.
Okay.
And there's not one now. So that's, I think most people would agree that's an improvement.
Yeah, that's germane. Walkability is part of
But, yeah, they've moved it forward with no outstanding issues.
Okay, so that's the sidewalk that's reflected in their site plan now? Awesome, thank you.
Yes. And the MSP will come at next month. It'll be at the next meeting.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any other discussion or motions?
Well, let me ask one question, looking to clarify the applicant real quick.
Mhm.
So the 3D perspective renderings show bollards, but your 2D elevations do not show bollards. So you are going to have bollards in front of the building and not wheel stops?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
The sidewalk is flush.
Yeah, I see
no
that.
step.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. All right.
Anybody else? Good? Okay.
Ellie, are you good with the landscape?
I am, yeah. You've got more than just one of me now, so.
Well, that's
You've got-
true.
you-
Sorry.
That's right,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, but yes, I am.
I don't think the landscape is the problem.
Yeah, the only, yeah.
With the community.
You know, just from the facade and all, I think my concern was just the red, there on that visible corner. And, you know, just would request the, bollards to be one of the building colors, and I would really like for the furniture to also be not red, but I don't know if that's purview or not. It wasn't shown on the plan, but I know it'll go there. It's shown in the elevation. Yeah. So that was all I had. Does anyone?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve, with the conditions of the bollards match the color of the building, the main color of the building, I would say. And that the outdoor furniture would also match color of the bollards. And signage is not a part of this approval.
Mhm.
Well, I was saying the main body of it like this,
The darker of
the dark
yeah.
color.
Do you want the bollards and the tables to match this?
I would, so it would disappear, like down low. What do you guys think?
I'm kind of either or, but I'm fine.
Yeah.
I
I
don't,
would have made the bollards this color so they don't, people won't run into them.
I ain't gonna hit them regardless, but yeah,
Um,
could put blinking lights on them.
If you don't want them this color,
I would have them to be color number 2. That's my preference. Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion, and you're good with our conditions? Any questions other than just that clarification? Okay, all right. So we have a motion,
I'll second.
motion a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, number 8.
Thank you. Ace Home Helpers of Santa Rosa Beach, less than minor. This is a less than minor development or application submitted by Dunlap and Shipman, requesting approval to add a 1,000-gallon propane tank fill station on the east side of the existing Ace Hardware building on 2.15 acres with a future land use of mixed use and a zoning of village mixed use. The project's located in District 5, just west of the public shopping center in Santa Rosa Beach. So with that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, please.
So noted.
And I'll entertain any questions you may have. The big holdup with this was you needed more information in terms of what it's gonna look like, how it's gonna be screened, what kind of landscaping is gonna be provided. So the applicant has provided all of that information, I believe now. So that's what was holding this up.
Thank you.
And they've also documented that it's not gonna hold 1,000 gallons. It's a 1,000-gallon tank, but it's not gonna hold that much because the code doesn't allow for 1,000 gallons. But they've documented that it will not hold that much gas.
Thank you, Tim. Does our applicant care? Come up.
Good evening, Melissa Ward with Dunlap and Shipman for the applicant Ace Hardware. Did you get your substantial information in your packets? Because we have handouts.
We got the new
If we need
plan.
any.
Thank you.
We're killing trees everywhere. Yes, I'm sorry. First of all, thank you for having us. We did go back and have a couple of meetings with a couple of people to get more information. My preference is to discuss this one. The other one, the site plan by the engineer is fine, but it doesn't provide, it doesn't give you some of the information that you were asking for. So specifically, we are looking at some, this is only going to be entered by the employees. So the public is not entering this area. When they need to have their fuel tank refueled, they'll go into the cashier, they'll send somebody out to the vehicle to get the thing, and then they'll walk in and enter that way to do it. So it's on the top part you see here is the employee-only entrance. The bollards will be inside the fence. They're likely going to be dark because it's going to be behind vegetation so that they're not, just so it's not a distraction. The enclosure is 26 feet long, 13 feet deep, and about 6 feet high. The plants are to be a Walters, I can't say it, verbunum. I don't know.
Viburnum.
Thank you. We anticipate having, 20, 21 plants there that are put in at minimum of 4 feet, maximum of 6 feet. So there's a nice big coverage around it. They have to be a certain distance from the tank itself, so they'll be exterior to the enclosure. The tank itself has to be a certain distance from the fence that encloses their gardening area as well. So we made sure that that was marked off. And that is largely the questions that I had. If you had some additional comments or anything, we're here to answer those if we can.
Thank you. We appreciate you adding the additional information.
You're welcome. Thank you. I was just telling my assistant, this is an exercise in certain projects where we have to go in and say, okay, well, they didn't ask it, but maybe we need to see additional information. And getting other people on board who can help us with that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any other questions of our applicant? Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone from the audience to speak on this one? And seeing none. Any discussion or motions?
They've addressed every concern, I believe, that we've asked. I like that the fence is inside of the hedge and the bollards inside of that as well, so,
This is much clearer.
yeah.
Thank you.
Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented, item number
8.
Second?
Motion a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. Item 9, all in Santa Rosa Beach.
Yes, thank you. All-in Federal Credit Union SRB, Santa Rosa Beach. This is a minor development or application submitted by North Star Engineering Services on requesting approval to develop a 4,115 square foot bank/credit union and associated infrastructure on 0.67 acres with the future land use of mixed use and a zoning of village mixed use. Property is located in District 4 at the southeast corner of Sugar Drive and Highway 98 West. So with that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, please.
So noted.
And I'll entertain any questions you may have. They've actually purchased this. It's going to be an out parcel from the bigger development as opposed to leasing or whatever. They've purchased this lot, and it does not have any highway 98 frontage, so that's why you don't see a scenic corridor buffer. There's property between this and Highway 98. So with that, if you have any questions, or I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Is that buffer already installed on the 98?
I don't know if it's installed, but it has to be put in with the first phase of the project, so.
It would have to go in before this project receives CO?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, maybe. It depends on what they're putting. I didn't do the project, so I don't know exactly what the first phase encompasses, but the buffer has to be installed in the first phase of the development. I don't know if it gets installed before or after this gets approved.
So this is not a phase of that development?
It would be, yes, but since I didn't do the project originally,
Then it would need to be
I don't know
approved
which
prior to them
phase.
granting, because site work won't be signed off until the buffer's installed
Well, they won't
during
get,
construction.
they won't get a CO
Right.
until the buffer's installed. I mean, maybe this is part of the phase one. I actually don't know the answer to that question, but I do know they won't get a CO for phase one unless the buffer is installed.
All right, thank you. Any other questions of Tim? All right, thanks. Is our applicant here and care to come up?
Good afternoon, Philip Santora, North Star Engineering, and also Victoria Williams with VBA. We do appreciate the opportunity to be in front of you today and request approval of our colors for the signs. We have gone through the other process and received approval for the development.
Sorry, if you don't mind to speak into the microphone and state your name, please.
Victoria Williams, VBA Design. We do have the color swatches for the different color options. We would prefer to have option one, but if you would prefer a different option, pick one.
Thank you. Yeah. It's the same group. Yeah.
This is all the same.
Yeah.
I apologize if I wasn't listening closely, but the option one,
Yeah.
option two, how are we responding? Are we giving our preferences, or are we considering them independently and letting you know that all or some are approved? Is the intent?
The owner would prefer to have option one,
Okay.
but in the interest of time, we didn't want to present just one option and you not like it, so we gave you
Understood.
some
Okay.
other options.
Okay, thank you.
Can you walk us through option one and how these colors,
Correspond.
Right.
correct?
Yep. Okay, so option one, the stucco and stone panels, would be the Munsell 10B. That's the dark gray. The aluminum entry band and roof would be Munsell 25B. That's the blue. Storefront windows, and the storefront doors would be the mill finish silver. And the brick would be the Munsell R-R0. That's kind of the lighter. Now, the Munsell, the brick Munsell R0, that is actually also in, I guess all the colors are also in option two. They're just located in different locations.
In that color scheme option one, y'all also have roof listed as Munsell 10190. So you want it the blue and not the lighter colored? Or
The
is there
owner
two different?
Yeah, the owner prefers the blue, for the roof. But if you did want, the option 2 is the Munsell 10Y, which is the lighter colored roof.
Sorry, I was reading this wrong. I see you've presented all 5 colors in 3 different options. There's just no arrows pointing. Okay.
Sorry.
So blue roof or light roof,
Right.
basically. Okay. Or gray roof.
Any other questions of our applicant?
I don't see signage.
Yeah, I didn't
You
see
did
signage
mention
in-
signage, or did you
It's
mean,
a
did you
separate
mean
submittal
building?
package.
So you meant to say building colors, not signage?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Would this color be on their signage as well? Is that one of their, like, branded colors?
It is not. None of these are their branded colors.
Okay.
We had to comply with the Munsell colors, and so the building colors, we've done that with these options. Their signage, it was started, for military, and so it's red, white, and blue. So that will come later.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Anyone from the audience care to speak on this one? All right, I'm not seeing anybody there. So my understanding is that in our motion, we have to select an elevation that we want to use, or want them to use, out of the 3 choices that they've presented.
For context, does anyone know or able to tell us the surrounding buildings and the roof lines and what they, because blue stands out a lot, for good or for bad?
There's nothing there.
Nothing, I mean,
Not
Well,
yet.
I mean, nothing there. I mean, AutoZone's down the way, but it's a flat roof.
right.
Trying to think of what else. It's a flat roof too.
They're all TPO, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's no.
That's a
Porsche.
rather large development. It's a planned unit development, but you're right, and nothing's been built yet.
Right.
So I don't know how this is going to compare to any of the other buildings.
I'm just not a fan of the blue roof.
I'm not either. I have no problem with the blue accent around the door, like an option 2, with the lighter roof.
I think option 2 is my preferred of all of those.
I didn't really have any comments on the site plan other than just wanting to make sure that the scenic corridor buffer was installed either with or before this one.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe all in, I think their signage and their existing is like a royal blue color. It's lit up.
If nothing else moves forward, if this is the only construction, then they will have to install it before they can get a CO.
Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, that was my only concern on it.
But Tim, don't they have a road already coming out that way? They've moved dirt, and it's like there's a road coming across there to tie into Sugar.
Yeah, that is part of the development.
That's the development in off of Sugar then?
Because it's going to go all the way across, and if I remember right, and of course, I didn't do this project, but I believe the road goes across and then curves up to 98, because I don't think there's any side street on the other side. So it's going to curve up and connect with Highway 98. So that is part of the development.
Okay.
And like I say, it's a rather large development, but I'm just saying that buffer has to be put in with phase 1. So if this is the only thing moving forward to construction, then they're gonna have to install it.
Okay. All right.
I don't, if I was reading the code, I don't think we really could do this as a roof color, because I think it doesn't qualify as an accent color.
Yeah.
I think the door surround's fine, because it clearly meets the accent color, but it wouldn't, I think the roof on that building would be considered a principal color. So it either needs to be like natural metal or within the other color hues allowable. Alright.
Anyone want to make a motion?
So it's,
Give them the choice for 2 or 3, as long as the roof is not blue, or?
I mean, I like 2 better. It's just,
Okay.
it's because I like the lighter roof and I think it'd be a nicer.
anything other than color?
Excluding the
Oh, yeah.
signage.
We're not, yeah.
And if I could, I'm sorry, my computer's going into its crazy mode again where I can't scroll very quickly. I just have one quick question on the siding of the building itself. So I very much like that the front elevations, I'll call them 2 front elevations of the building, are oriented to what the public is going to see. The mechanical courtyard is up against the internal street. Take another quick look at the mechanical, that elevation. I mean, it's well screened, certainly. There we go. So I was looking at the site plan, so there's a mechanical courtyard that screens all the air conditioning. So if we're looking at, the color scheme option 2, the upper right-hand drawing, the center of the building, that slightly taller, dark stone, that's the mechanical courtyard. So, I mean, there's not really any space to have any landscaping on that side of the building. It's so tight to the street, but I guess that's a site constraint that we can't really.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I
They're
answered
only
my question.
required 50% of the facade to have foundation planting anyway, so.
Yeah, no, I think the 2 facades that most matter most are great, so, thank you. Sorry to babble.
No, you're good. Did we have a motion? Did it go
So,
actually get?
no,
Okay.
so I would make a motion to approve, item number 9, excluding signage and, with color option 2.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
And passes, thank you.
Hold on, do I need this says option 2, option 1, scheme 1 and 2. Do I need to do option 1, scheme 2?
That's not how they're labeled in our, okay.
All right.
That's where I was confused.
Yes.
Okay.
If you'll make sure that she gets a set of that. All right, thank you. And for our next 2 items, Chad, you're gonna be
All right.
those? So,
Okay.
So that means we gotta have a unanimous vote.
yes. Yeah. So I'm recusing myself from 10 and 11. So Chad's gonna take those.
All right, Tim?
Item 10, sports motoring at Highway 98. This is a minor development or application submitted by Jenkins Engineering requesting approval to develop a 10,091 square foot automotive care center and associated infrastructure on 1.39 acres with the future land use of industrial and extractive uses in a zoning of light industrial. Property is located in District 5 on the south side of Highway 98 West, just west of the public shopping center. So their current building is immediately to the east of this property. So they want to move out of that building into these 2 adjacent parcels, and they're going to do something similar to what the Porsche dealership is. They're going to have a fence all the way around, because just like the cars for the Porsche dealership, we want the cars that are being worked on to be screened from Highway 98, which currently in their current location, they're not being screened. So that's the biggest, not really an issue, but lack of a better word, that's the biggest issue with this, is we followed the template with Porsche. They're doing a wall, these people are gonna do a fence, but the whole idea is to screen the cars from Highway 98. So with that, may I enter the staff report into the record?
Noted.
And I'll entertain any questions you may have, or I'll turn it over to the applicant.
So you said their fence is not gonna be a opaque fence?
It is. It's
It
going to
is
be a 6-foot fence as opposed
Okay.
to a 6-foot wall.
Okay, okay.
And it goes all the way around the building. You'll come in from the west side of the building, and then they'll park the vehicles behind the building on the east side. So once they go in, they'll be screened from view,
Okay.
which we as staff thought that was very important, because their current location, you know, there's cars parked on the side and the rear and kind of all over the place.
Questions for Tim?
Is signage included in this one, Tim? I see one page showing a little bit of sign, but I don't see.
What does the checklist say? If it's not included, it'll say no signage at this time.
Okay, thank you.
I think it is included, but I don't remember off the,
Not for approval right now, or?
I think it is included for approval, but I'm not sure, because I
Well,
No, I'm
I don't, I see a note for double gate, but they're not pointing at anything.
Right.
So that's where I was confused at. We'll see what the applicant says.
signage is included.
Not a monument sign?
Should be a sign detail sheet.
There, I did see,
Only one, but it's for the building, it's not for a monument.
Yeah, they're only requesting at this time the building sign.
the kind of vertical orient. Saw one in the,
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, it's on
That
page,
building mounted?
I don't know, 295 of the packet, but I don't know.
so on PDF, it looks like it's around page 25 of 39. It's right after T10. There's a small.
Okay, anything else to Tim? Would the applicant like to come forward?
Good afternoon, everybody. Jamie Eubanks, EUBANKS with Jenkins Engineering. I'm here mainly to facilitate us. A lot of this is out of my realm, but if you have anything site or civil engineering related, I can address it. But of course, Kelly was the landscape architect on this particular job, and we've got Brian and Joe here from the design team from the architectural side. So I'd say with that, if you have any specific questions, we can get whoever necessary to speak.
I know we got a question about the fence and
Yeah.
the limits of it. Which I don't see it in the site plan.
So the fence runs from the eastern side of the building. So if you're looking at this from 98, that would be the left side. It runs to the left. If you don't, guys don't mind the approach, that'd be easier.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that'll run from the eastern side straight across to the property line, outside this parking, down, around, all the way. Sorry.
Okay.
Essentially all the way around, and it does cut over right it does allow for the ADA access outside, obviously, but it does cut over on this side, after that ADA.
And what is the fence made of?
I believe right now it's proposed of a pipe material. But I don't have specific. I think we have all from a site and civil standpoint, we just called it out. Try that again.
I have a procedural question of staff. If we were, is it possible for us to approve a project contingent on a fence, and the fence then come back to us later, and the rest of the project move forward? Or does that become another application that has to be put together and fees paid and all that craziness?
Well, it would just hold up their development order. This board's approval is the last step
Yeah.
for this project.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if we approve it without a fence, then in order to put up a fence, they have to apply and go through the whole process again.
There's no fence listed on the drawings, but we'd like to see a fence, and we can't approve a fence that's not on the drawings.
That's where I'm going.
And we can't approve a fence that
You mean
doesn't
a
show us the
detail.
elevation, anything. There's nothing,
Well,
even
it
on
is
the site
shown.
plan.
It is shown somewhere because I saw it and I asked questions about it. I think the only thing that's really missing would be a detail of the of the fence.
Tim, can you direct us to the page where the fence is shown? Because I don't think.
I mean,
we're
there's
seeing
notes,
it.
but it's pointing at
Well, I
lot lines
think
and things like
the
that.
Right.
I think the resolution of that would be to continue it to the next meeting and have them bring back the information.
Okay. well,
Because they have to have this board's approval to finish up the project.
Yeah.
So that would give them 30 days to provide the information.
Mr. Eubanks, you're probably getting a feeling for where this is headed. We're
Well,
hung
the
up on
owner's
the
here
fence.
too, and I think most importantly is, probably from the owner's perspective, is what fence do you want to see? What, is there a material that this board prefers? Because we don't want to bring back something that would not be,
Yeah.
sufficient in your eyes.
Well, I guess my first question for you or the owner is the timeline of the project. Is it more important to move the rest of the project forward and the fence gets left behind and y'all come back at some other point and bring us a fence? I'm just trying to be sensitive to the overall project
Sure. No, no,
schedule.
absolutely, completely understand. I think if possible, that would obviously be, the goal.
Well, we're not going to approve this without a fence.
Right. So
Oh, okay.
That's the problem.
That was
What
the
you're saying,
biggest
okay.
issue
Yeah.
with this project. When they came to us with this project, our first response was, you have to screen these vehicles.
Okay.
So we're not really going to be able to do it that way because we're not going to issue a development order if they don't have, if those cars aren't screened. Just like with Porsche.
I think what David's asking though is, could we not have a contingency that they have to come back, that there has to be a fence, and they have to come back for this board before that project would?
Like we did
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
tile on the
I-
hotel.
Because I mean,
We just dealt with a project that didn't have any landscaping, but we're like, oh, no problem, man, they won't get their CO till they put their landscaping in.
Right.
Well, that's slightly different because they don't have any Highway 98 frontage. I get where you're going with that.
My intention is to try to keep this project moving so it goes on through the process. I'm speaking for myself at this point, but I think it's,
Okay,
for the
you
use, it's a
could
great
do
looking
that.
building, and I'm sure
You
the
could-
fence is gonna look nice, but I have a duty, and the rest of the board has a duty to know what we're approving, so.
You could do that in so much as we could issue the DO, but hold up the CO until they came back and got your approval. We could do it that way.
I would be more comfortable
Yeah.
seeing a fence that the architects took some time to draw, and we had a little detail and stuff like that. It's gonna be better for the project.
I agree.
agree.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree. I'm just concerned that it's not even listed anywhere on the, you're saying it is. I'm just not seeing, you're saying it's imperative for their approval. I'm just not seeing where the fence is notated anywhere on the drawings or details thereof in any detail sheet or any material or location or.
We'll get with the team and provide a detail and a location specifically on a standalone sheet, because I think it's getting lost in all the pages.
If you approve the DO with no fence, it goes in with no fence.
Well, they're saying we could put a contingency that they cannot get a CO until this fence came back to us. So then that would,
I understand.
got
it's a
plenty
different
of time
area of
for
the
that to come back.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different area of
Yeah,
the permit
yeah, yeah,
process.
we
That
do.
falls on the contractor during the building permit process, but
uh,
I'm just saying if they grant a DO that's supposed to have a fence in it, that leaves them open to saying we're doing this without fencing.
No, we would need a condition with a fence.
Yeah,
I think
if you guys make the condition, they have to come back, so that won't hold them up. We can issue the development order, but we can put that condition in the development order. that
Right. I understand what you're
They can't get their
saying.
CO
Yeah.
until they get the fence approved through this board
And constructed.
and constructed. Well, you can't get the CO unless it's constructed.
Yeah, it'd have to be in building permits hands at that time and site work, planning sign off.
So if you go this route, though, I do think it's a worthwhile discussion. Maybe others here disagree, in terms of what this board would prefer to see, because the code itself is somewhat vague on it, other than opaque.
it is.
So we don't want to come back with a chain link fence with mesh, so to speak, and this board say no. I don't want the team to have to go through that, and especially those putting the detail together. We're not asking you to say we want a pink fence that's block wall.
Again, speaking for myself, but I suspect the rest of the board agrees that our greatest interest is that the fence match the building. I mean, and architecturally,
I think we can do
similar
that.
colors, materials, to the extent you can pull that off, and,
And
it
it's
could be
not chain link.
Well, and,
It's not allowed on
and that would be,
doors, so it's not chain link.
a disservice to the business
That's
if you
your
put up a
answer. It's
chain
not
link
and
chain
fence.
that would be
You pick any other fence,
For
it's not chain
example.
link.
what they were saying, vinyl could mean a lot of things. There's a lot of these really inexpensive vinyl fences that blow over, snap together, never are straight, so you're looking at them all leaning. If, a contractor, architect are all here, if there was an option and it wasn't price prohibitive, I would rather see where I've seen it done down on the corridor before, where they've actually taken, 4x4 wood post, they're framing 2x4 within it, and it's getting wrapped in sheet hardy and with vertical battens or something and a cap on it, and painted out to match the building. It just seems like you guys have more control setting that. You're not subbing out to some fence contractor who's just throwing it up really quick. And it just allows for better continuity of materials.
I agree with you, Jonathan. We'll be more than happy to pick up that scope and do that. I'm Brian Stackable.
Can you
Sorry,
approach the
come down.
microphone for us, for the record? Thank you. And
Hi,
just-
my name is Brian Stackable. I'm with the architectural firm. We'll be more than happy to address the fence as we move forward with the project. It really wasn't an original scope, that's why it's not there. But I guess our only question would be, like we've done projects up and down 30A, as you guys have, that there's a percentage visibility along the city corridor of 30A. We didn't come across any of that in 98, in the sense of the transparent, instead of doing a white. Right. So I guess to save our client in the schedule time, is there a guideline that maybe, Tim, you can share with us?
Not really.
Height? Okay, we'll go with that. But I think we'll certainly take like I said, we're gonna present the exterior colors to you guys, but we'll work on the fence that matches the architecture of the building.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, my name is Russ Porter. I'm here on behalf of the owner. So the intent is to have the fence match the building. I mean, what that is made of, we thought a vinyl fence, a nice vinyl fence like you see on 30A down by Al's Beach would be appropriate for that, something to that effect. But being that there's no code and tells you exactly what it is, there's all sorts of fences. The stuff being done around the Porsche dealership, that's actually a fence, but it's made out of concrete. I mean, there's a million different ways we can construct that. Aesthetically, we want it to match, we're not gonna put up some, this is a very expensive building and we're spending a lot of money to move in this, and Brian and Joe have done a great job architecturally, so we're not gonna put up just some regular fence. So I think from an owner's perspective, he's gone through this process and it's been a lengthy process for him. To extend it another 30 days is gonna be extremely problematic for him.
Yeah.
So I would ask that y'all would work with us from that perspective. If we can get it approved so we can keep the project moving forward, we will come back to you guys with a design to match what we're doing from a building state. That's what I'd ask.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Yeah. Other than that, I just have a question about signage. Are we doing a monument sign at this location at any point in time in the future to be approved?
There's not one proposed, and not to my knowledge, at this time, but.
No, we're not in the building.
No, just.
So right now you only have one sign and that's on the building? No other signage on the property at all?
Right, no monument sign.
And the sign that we're approving tonight is the one that faces 98, correct? Because the rendering shows 2.
Yeah.
Correct.
So the one facing 98 is the only thing we'd approve. I do have a question too about the dumpster location. It's sitting in a cross-access recorded agreement.
It is,
Would
there's
you
a
just
requirement to move it.
Yeah, does it make sense to move it now and not have to come back and do it later? And put it at an angle in that area that's an X? I don't know what that X is for. It's just food for thought, because
I mean, they're well over parked. I'd probably, if they did that, I would suggest that they just eliminate 2 parking spaces to the south and put it there.
Guy driving the truck probably loves it where it is.
well, sure he does.
Yeah,
He's
he
straight
does,
in,
and
straight
that's
out.
why it's there for now. It's the easiest truck routing, to be perfectly honest. And this is an interesting one because the development to the east is already built. So at this time, there's no connection. Not to say there won't ever be one. That's why we recorded, obviously. The X is a loading zone.
Is
It's
that
a
loading
required
zone?
loading zone.
Okay, all right.
Which, it's a requirement of the code. I'll be honest, I think in this case, it's probably a little silly, because the loading zone is essentially the interior of the building as cars come in. There will be some drop-off areas, but obviously, if you look at the dimensions of the parking, the drive aisles are oversized. They're 30-plus feet. They're 42 feet on the south side, 28 feet on the east side, 57 feet. But I mean, if it's an issue, we can certainly move the dumpster to that spot.
I just saw it. I just
Yeah.
wanted to bring it up. If it were me, I'd probably move it, so I'm gonna have to move it later, but
Typically, auto repair gets part deliveries all the time, so I mean, I think it does need a loading zone for that vehicle. Usually they come multiple times per day, sometimes, to deliver parts.
Yeah, it's an extra one. We also have a 10 by 25 by the drop-off at the
Well,
entrance.
yeah, I mean,
So,
I don't think you need more than one. But I just wanted to address your comment, they can only have one sign, because there's no side street. They're not on a
Correct.
corner lot,
Yes,
so.
that's why I
they can
wanted to
only-
clarify,
They can
yeah.
only have one sign.
right.
But if that's extra, I don't see an issue. But I do think they need a loading zone, because you're constantly getting parts trucks coming in and out.
Right, and we do have 2 of them. Plus oversized drive aisles.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? Oh,
And again, the rest of the team's
Okay.
here to speak about.
anyone from the public wish to speak? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Comments, discussion? Would care to make a motion? If not,
Since I opened that can. of worms.
Yeah.
Okay. I will move the approval of this item with I believe it's a requirement, not a contingency. I will move the approval of this item with the requirement that a fence acceptable to the DRB be brought before and approved by this committee prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy.
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And make the record reflect that our usual chairman abstained.
Oh,
One abstain.
One abstention.
and one abstain.
Yep, there we
Correct.
go. Yep.
Thank you. Tim, next agenda item?
Thank you. Garage 30A. This is a major development order application submitted by Jenkins Engineering requesting approval to develop a 73,020 square foot private club for storage of high-end vehicles and similar items with a private clubhouse and manager's residence on 4.67 acres with a future land use of mixed use and a zoning of village mixed use. Property is located in District 5 on the north side of Highway 98. Near the Regional Utilities Wastewater Treatment Plant. So, a little background, not sure how relevant it is, but this project was originally approved in the South Walton Commerce Park. But they're going to do it in this location. They wanted to condominiumize it so they could sell each individual unit. And St. Joe said no. So they abandoned that approval and they're putting it at this location. And because it's VMU over 3 acres, they have to have a residential component and a recreation component. So they're gonna have someone living full-time on the site, that's the residential component, and then they're putting in a trail that will connect to the Gulf Power easement to the north, and it'll also come over to that side street because it's part of the Christian International apartments behind this, to the north of this. The parcel immediately across that side street as part of that development is going to be built as a park. So this will have access across that side street to the park. They're going to put in some picnic tables, trash can, that kind of thing. So it's not something that you all are approving, but they are meeting those requirements. So with that, I'd like to enter staff report in the record, please.
Noted.
And I'll entertain any questions you may have. I mean, for Walton County, this is a rather unusual development. There's 5 buildings total.
I'm aware of like this type of project up in Tennessee, a few of them out in like the Hendersonville area. They're condominiumized as well, but they have, will these have full-term living above them? I mean.
No, that was a
Okay.
concern of mine, because when you look at the floor plans, I mean, that could there's a bathroom in there and whatnot. It could certainly be converted into a unit. My discussions with Jamie, he has agreed to put in like the covenants that you can't be putting a living area inside of these. So that's how we're going to handle that. And they're not proposing that, but you could certainly do it with how they're laid out. So they're going to handle that with the covenants.
You can only just come there and hang out and look at your car.
Yeah, and each unit.
I'm familiar with them. I mean, I know the one you're talking about in Hendersonville too, so.
Each unit can hold 6 cars, and if they want to put in a lift, they could hold 12 cars.
Right.
So my next comment is based on a real-life situation with a small development in Walton County that was single-family residential with a homeowners association that was supposed to take care of drainage, et cetera, et cetera. And that association was stood up, and the very next year, the corporation was dissolved, and I was responsible for an adjacent property and had to live with all of the drainage problems and landscaping problems and lack of oversight and lack of enforcement of the covenants, because Walton County has no authority to get involved in enforcing people's covenants.
Yes.
And et cetera. So that's the background for this question is that this body, the Design Review Board, is not to get involved with covenants and all that type of stuff. But we do have to have a reasonable expectation that a property is going to be maintained. And so when I hear it's going to be condominiumized and someone's going to live on the property, I'm assuming that there's an association that gives that person or entity some authority to collect dues and maintain the property?
Well, that's a question for Jamie, but I think they're gonna have to.
Yeah, well, I understand they're gonna have to, but I mean, I just gave you a real-life example of
Are you
one that
Yeah,
was set up
are you
and
codifying
resolved.
condo documents?
We've certainly had those issues where a homeowners association goes defunct and now there's no maintenance. I mean, I think every community's had that issue.
Yeah.
But
There's a common
Jamie's in
area
a
here.
better
There's a
position.
clubhouse here that's gonna be the shared responsibility of all those tenants as well.
Yeah, it'll be common area, right?
So,
It'll-
yes.
Everything but the units are common area.
That's a
Which is
great,
handled in the condo
I
docs.
know exactly, David, where you're going with that. 'cause-
Will you state your name again?
I'm
real
sorry,
quick?
Jamie
Sorry.
Eubanks, Jenkins Engineering.
Thank you.
Forgot it was a new project.
Just rolling.
Um, to be blunt with you, that's happened a lot.
Yeah.
And I realize none of us here can control it. But I will say probably the good thing is, from those who are concerned, their perspective, starting in June of 2024, Northwest Florida Water Management District and the state started imposing stricter requirements on developments. And so now, at the time, in order to get your water management district ERP permit, they actually require certified documents, a couple different things. They require an annual cost estimate from us. They require certified statements from the ownership, showing the ability to pay that. And there's also a new operation and maintenance document that they have to also sign that gets bound into their permit approval. Now, look,
So just to distill that down,
Mhm.
unlike the situations that have occurred in the past, the developer is on the hook if the association goes defunct and stops. The developer, as the applicant, would now be in violation of their permit
Correct.
with the management.
A-
Okay.
And
See,
the
that's
air,
some
and
teeth.
it
That's-
ties to the heirs as
okay,
well.
yeah.
So that's their attempt
Yeah.
to do that now.
And I realize the most
We know.
likely outcome of this property in the near future is it's gonna be filled up with wonderful, beautiful cars. And the people that have those beautiful cars in there are going to
want it,
want the
right.
property to look spick and span, and it's gonna be tidy. But sort of the worst case scenario
Good
is,
question.
you know, it ends up being, informal,
Hmm.
bottle clubs or something like that. And everyone will look to Walton County and say, how on earth did you approve this thing? So I'm just
Yeah.
trying to capture.
Yeah, and that's come up, and I think that's why the state had some kind of overhaul of their rules last year and is attempting to create this, I don't want to say burden, but responsibility on the developer.
It's a valid. Yeah,
Now,
okay.
a bad developer at the end of the day is going to be a bad developer and not pay and try and run away, of course, but I don't think we have that here with this project, but
No.
that's how the state's attempting
Okay.
to do it, where the county can't really do it, to be honest.
Well, that makes me feel a little better that it's more likely to turn out the way the drawings are and the way that the.
Me too, honestly.
Turn out, okay.
I hate getting calls or we get the same call about, my subdivision was approved 15 years ago. Pipes are clogged, no one's maintained it. Can you come look at it? And 9 times out of 10, it's just a lack of maintenance. With that said, I'm back up here. Kelly again is the landscape architect on the project. I've got Robbie Carter here from William Reese Design to speak on buildings. We've got renderings or samples as well. So, and if there's anything you guys want to add, certainly do so. But I'll be here.
Any other questions? I know Tim was up there and the applicant, so.
I'm Robbie Carter. I'm the lead designer on it, and I brought you guys some samples to look at from color perspective. This is kind of what I'm going to do just to show you from the aspect of our ideal finish. Will be there. If not,
They never do. The architectural renderings never do.
just for colors. This was what we were kind of, originally initially.
Can you speak louder so the microphone will pick you up?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to get right up in your face, David. this darker, the more contrasting one was what was the preference to have this. However, we know that there are some along 98. So that would be representative of this finish, the midnight bronze, and then everything else would be using this. Oops. If showing everything with a lighter tone, all within the desert sand, primary color. As you can see, it's definitely a little more muted looking. You know, more interesting, you know, dramatic one, I guess. I just, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at your roof. I was trying to see what you guys were doing.
Yeah, the roof will actually just be concealed.
File keeps crashing on me. I'm sorry. What are you guys doing about HVAC units?
They'll be on.
They're not shown on the rendering on the roof, so there
Right,
will be
so
rooftop units.
There'll be
Okay.
rooftop units, but
We'll cover them. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, Russ Porter, on behalf of Garage 30A. I'm not only the general contractor, I'm also one of the principal and owners of the project. We put the parapets on there to conceal all HVAC equipment on the roof.
I guess the only other concern I have about the dark colors is direct sunlight, fading, longevity of color. Otherwise, it looks fantastic. It's just.
Yeah, so it's all building, it's all metal building material, so, you know, it's strong and durable, and we like the contrast in the other color. I'll go back to y'all's previous comments, where there's 8 owners. They're all local businessmen in this, that are part of this development. We're all gonna have our own condos. We've actually submitted condo docs already to the county.
Okay.
No sleeping in the units, okay? The reason why we have the clubhouse, it's a clubhouse kind of style. We've built this thing for the folks around here that don't play golf, that don't maybe fish, that like cars, and so it's more of a condo. So it's a very community-friendly atmosphere for people that, you know, have another place to go. And so that's what we've done, and all 8 owners, principals in this, we'll each have our own condo. So not only will we be involved, we plan on staying involved for a long time.
You guys have listed on your interior plan for your clubhouse, indoor-outdoor bar. Is that just referencing bar seats, or will you guys actually plan on having permits to bring in your own alcohol or serve food or anything like that on the premises?
I mean, we'll
Is there
cater
sort
and
of
stuff, just like any
Okay.
club would. This is not a.
No health
Yeah,
department
this is a
involved in
clubhouse, so it's not, so we're not gonna have a liquor license. It's not,
Okay.
this is not a for-profit type, or, you know.
Yeah, so the term bar, as far as this drawing is concerned, is literally just the physical structure of
It's
a
a
bar that you
it's
sit
actually
around.
it's a bar inside, but we open the windows and you can sit outside. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yeah.
You said that's a kind R.
Yeah, it comes from the factory that way, so it's not like we're painting it in the field.
Have you used that in any projects within the last 2 years down here in Florida?
Ma'am?
Have you used this particular
We've
color of
built,
this product?
we do. I'm with Regal Stevens Construction. We built a lot of metal buildings and that specifically those products.
And it's
throughout the
holding
ca-
up?
Oh,
That
yes,
color's
ma'am.
holding
Yeah.
up? Okay.
Yeah, we try to make it so that all the materials hold up, so you don't have like, we're not using like hardy stucco, hardy siding where you have to paint it, and we want it to be when someone comes and buys these, or even us using them, that it's pretty maintenance free, and it stays and it lasts and it looks good.
Especially when you're assessing for maintenance.
What's that?
Especially when you're having to assess for
Yeah,
maintenance.
yes,
That's what, you know what I'm
absolutely.
getting at with that. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, even the wood products that we're using, it's not really, it's a wood composite, so that you don't have to paint it, it doesn't fade. It's like almost a Trex type product.
I'm sorry, but my file keeps crashing. Is there signage involved in this? You'll be back for a separate permit on that,
We haven't decided.
or
on that.
otherwise?
Yeah, I think that, I don't think, we haven't talked about that yet, but we'd have to come back for signage approval. We're just looking to try to get the project rolling, and we haven't determined, it's a club, so we don't know if we want to, may do a monument sign at the bottom. I don't know if we'll have anything, probably won't have anything on the building. I don't think that's what we want. Yeah.
All right.
On the board has any questions? I can't get to the lighting plan. I'm sorry, my file keeps crashing, but.
Is there any intent to phase this, or everything going up?
Everything's going up at the same time. Yes, sir.
Anything else? All right, anyone from the public wish to speak on behalf? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Discussions, comments?
Have we discussed any modifications to a motion? The meeting's getting on to that point where
Not that I'm aware
starting
of.
to, all
No,
starting to blend
not that
together.
I'm aware of.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we did.
All right, I'll move the approval as presented.
We have a motion,
I'll second.
motion and a second.
Sorry.
Yes.
Because I know he presented you two different things.
Oh, yes, good point. So you,
There.
thank you, Mr. Eubanks. So I am moving, let's see, I guess by procedural order, do I amend my motion, or do we just
We haven't
back
said
up?
yes yet. We just had a first and a second, but.
I think because it was.
Anyway, because it
seconded.
was seconded, so if it's okay with Mr. Hample, I'm going to amend my motion to clarify that we are, that I am moving that we approve as presented with the midnight bronze color scheme.
Still second.
We have a motion and a second. All,
And no signage. Yes.
Okay.
Second
Still have my
Yeah,
second.
okay, awesome.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
And one abstain.
All right, 4-4 and 1 abstain.
Lord.
Tim? Up?
Yep. thank
Kelly?
you.
Go.
Last but not least.
Yes, last but not least, Sellers Tile Expansion 2. The 2 is because they're coming back for the very same approval they had previously. They let their DO expire. This board approved them back in '21. They never moved forward. It expired, so now they're coming back with the exact same request. So this is a minor development order application submitted by All Day Howe Engineering, requesting approval to add 18,500 square foot of commercial and storage use to an existing commercial site on 2.76 acres with a future land use of mixed use and a zoning of village mixed use. Property is located in District 5 on the north side of Highway 98, west of Veterans Road. So with that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record.
So noted.
And I'll entertain any questions you may have, but this is the exact same project you guys approved 3 years ago.
Any other questions from Tim? All right, thank you. Does our applicant care to come up and add anything? Thank you
Uh,
for your patience. It's a
problem.
long night.
Good evening. I'm John Feeney. Last name's Feeney. I don't have much of a presentation, but I'll try and knock out some of the questions y'all been asking. This project does not include signage. It is an expansion of Sellers Tile to the north of their building. They are on the north side of 98, so it's largely hidden from the highway. The part that does stick out to the drive aisle has all the screening and everything and meets the scenic corridor requirements. I think the only change that we had from the previous time to this time is that the mounting height of poles has been reduced. We used to have 25-foot pole mounted signs, and now they're 14-foot tall for the code.
Pole mounted lights.
Pole mounted lights, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm not sure what I said. Pole mounted sign.
Madam Chairman, I have a site-related question. So, there is an existing building, the Sellers Tile building, that fronts and faces 98, and then there's an adjacent building to the west, and it looks like the warehouse is attaching via a ramp, not a structural attachment, but a ramp attachment.
It actually is enclosed. There's just about a 2-foot grade change from the front to the back, so that ramp is actually enclosed inside the building structure.
Okay. And is the probably I'm looking at a plan that slightly confused me, but to be clear, there is a driveway connection between the existing building to the west parking lot and the Sellers Tile parking lot. Is that correct?
You mind pointing at it for me so I can see it?
Well, I probably pulled up the worst drawing, but again, my computer's not cooperating really. So here's the Sellers Tile building. There's the existing building to the west. There's
all this down here.
Yeah.
Is existing. That's about 20,000.
Yep.
We're adding 12,000 square feet of warehouse.
Yep.
That's connected here.
Yep. And is this?
This drive aisle goes around to the South Bay Lumber. This is their back.
Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Clarifying up there.
So
Yeah.
this is all driveway. So this is all interconnected in terms of vehicles.
And Sammy made sure that we provided connectivity, and he said that he wanted to put a sign up through there for just like a fire lane sign.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Good.
Well,
Okay.
I think there was one other change. You guys filled in the retention pond, right?
Well, it was part of the previous development order, which was attached to the South Bay Lumber.
It was part of the South Bay expansion.
Yeah, that's why you don't see any stormwater on the site. It's all being treated by the pond that's on the northern parcel.
But you guys did have your own.
Correct. Sellers Tile, the original development had their own. That's since been filled in as part of a previous development. And that was the only work that was done, but it was permitted through a different development on
Right.
this site.
So that is another change from the original approval. That was all gonna happen regardless of anything else.
Right now, the water is just being piped to the stormwater pond. All that, the piping is actually not per these plans, so that piping will have to be removed and replaced as part of the construction project.
And I understand that the addition, the proposed addition is not easy to see from 98, but do we have any information on the colors and which building it matches?
Yeah, there is a sheet in your inserts, but it's the exact same finishes. There's a picture here. It's kind of that prefab
yep.
white stucco.
Okay.
But it'll have the same awnings, the same finishes. There's no signage. There will be 2 leasable spaces that are built as part of this, but they don't know who they're going to be yet, so we'll leave the signage up to them whenever they decide.
Okay.
Any other questions of our applicant? Thank you, Mr. Feeney.
Thank y'all.
All right. Anyone from the audience want to speak on this one? All right, and seeing none, any discussion?
Was there a signage plan already pre-approved before?
I don't remember there being any signage before either. Yeah.
No, nothing pre-approved. No master sign plan or?
Oh, no, yeah.
The only signage that's on the site was approved in the development order from 2018. That was the
Okay.
first time we
Yeah, the-
permitted the
The
original
front of the
development.
building.
And it's the same business, they're just expanding out of the back. So there won't be any new seller's tile signage, period. The only new signage we expect is for the 2 leasable units.
Okay, understood.
All right. Anyone care to make a motion?
Make a motion if you guys help me make sure that I didn't forget anything. So if this one has no contingencies or anything like that, okay. Excluding the signage, there you go. So I move the approval of the Sellers Tile Expansion 2, I guess, with the understanding there is no signage approved as part of this approval.
All right.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And it passes. Thank you, guys. And with that, say we close our meeting.
Did it?
We did it. Just a little after 6 o'clock.
Not bad.
Apologies, but we try to not run this late, and sorry you guys got stuck on the end of that one. So, yeah, motion to adjourn on that one, so.
Glad we didn't have to
Maybe
do the
on
opposition to Circle
That's
K.
good.
But I didn't get any comments.
With all the letters, I was scared. I was like,
Thank you. Bye. That's the only thing, it's like a warehouse business. It doesn't really.